Okay, so this style is I'm talking about pop music, and pop music is another subject which is huge, I suppose, but there are certain elements of it which are quite important to recognise. So it doesn't have the same approach as jazz. It's similar in a way to the gospel style video that I've done, in that the harmony is often quite sort of accessible. I was going to say basic, but it's not basic all the time. It can be quite advanced, but it tends to be quite accessible. So you'll find that there are chord movements in there, but they'll either be very straightforward ones or they'll be limited. They won't have a huge number of chord progressions. The other feature of it really is that you don't add in notes in the same sort of way. So if you're reading a jazz piece and you've got the chord chart for this, let's say you're in the key of C, you'd probably find that the C chord has got some extension to it, as in the chord has been extended up using the root, the third, the fifth, the seventh at least, and then it would perhaps have some extension in as well, so the ninth, for example. So you've got a C major 7 there, I wouldn't play it like that, but that's how it's built. In pop music, you don't tend to have the same sort of focus on sevenths as you do in jazz. So I often miss them out because they actually, when you put the sevenths in, it can actually take it away from sounding like pop music. And you'll know this if you try and play along to I don't know, a Beatles track or something like that. You can't really get away with putting in sevenths. You know, if you're trying to play even just the chord of C major 7, it doesn't sound right. It sounds too jazz. So C major 7 doesn't often work. C7, again, if it's not appropriate to play a seventh chord, it won't work. Whereas in blues, you can put sevenths in all the time, but in pop music, very often you can't put in either a major seventh or a lowered seventh, so a dominant seventh. Minor sevenths are a little bit easier, but similarly, you might not want that sort of sound. It might take it away from where it's supposed to be. So often you'll find on a chord chart in pop music, you will see the chord C, but instead of saying C major 9, which would be C major 7 with a major ninth in it as well, it would write it differently. It would say C add 9. So in this case, we're just playing C, E, G. We're not thinking of the seventh, we're adding the ninth as a separate extension. So now we've got C add 9. Notice I'm missing out my fourth finger here. I'm not putting in the B, whereas C major 9 in jazz, you would have that. So I'd play C major 9 like this, and I'd play C add 9, probably something like that. So it changes the sound. It makes it sort of stronger in some ways, more sort of focused on the root, which in pop music often you want that sort of sound. So if I was playing a pop chord progression of, I don't know, 1 4, what should I do, 1 4 6 5, 1 4 6 5. So So it sounds sort of more pop than the usual stuff that I would perhaps do. But notice I'm using C add 9. I'm just using the other notes of the chord to fill around it. Here I'm doing actually F6 and using that as a bit of a sort of tension, resolving it. I actually put the ninth in as well, I think. A minor, I actually put the 7th and the 9th in because I think that can work. And then G, I haven't played a G dominant 7 because it just sounds a bit lame. I've played G add 9. So it has the effect of moving back to the C, but it hasn't got that really obvious dominant 7th feel. It's a little bit more subtle. So C add 9, F6, 9, A minor 9, so that's got the 7th and the 9th, and then G add 9. So the 9th, I mean the 9th anyway, regardless of the style, it's a great note to add in. But in pop music I use them a lot. Let me just give you an example. If I was playing a jazz version of that, if I was playing maybe that same sequence, and show you what it would sound like if you put in the major 7ths and the sort of jazz extensions. Okay, so I think that sound for pop music, even though you're putting in some perhaps arguably cooler voicings of the chord, you've got more going on. I think it actually sounds dated because it sounds a bit like the pop music of, let's say, Burt Bacharach, where he was putting in jazz harmony into pop songs, and so it sounds kind of, to me, it sounds dated. It sounds like the 60s. So ironically, by simplifying the harmony, you can actually make it sound more modern. If you try and do all the sort of modern jazz stuff over it, then I don't know, you're either going to be very clever or it just won't work. So simplify in pop music. Definitely add the 9ths in. Be very wary of 7ths, both major and dominant. Minor 7ths you could probably get away with, but just don't think about it having the same. Don't think about it in the same way. Trying to approach it in a way in which you think is appropriate for the style. You should do this on all of these styles, and experiment. And above all, listen to the music, listen to the style, and try and get ideas from that.